Um, Hi, my name's Scott, and I make a few of these every so often. It's my birthday today. I'm 53. I was born on the 26th of May, 1965, from what I hear. And what I found out yesterday, on the 25th, was that my father had passed away. Um, Good fellow, good fellow. I always wanted to see that Statue of Liberty when I was about, I don't know, 3 or 4, and he he took out the time. He he brought me down there and you know took some time out and brought me down to see the Statue of Liberty, and then we took the ferry over to Liberty Island and we went up there and stuff. And I'll never forget it. And you know, it's an amazing thing where, like, when you see it up close. It's one thing to look at pictures or see it, different, images of it, but just to be right where you can touch the thing, something. Um, Always try to get to what do you call it? To go see the Yankees, play. And I had baseball cards when I was a little boy, and I always wanted to see, this Bobby Mercer guy, this is the home run, guy that at the time, and I could never really get to go there. I mean, relatives of mine, they'd bring me to see the Mets a lot, and at Shea, I got to see the Jets play the football in the football season. I never really got an opportunity to see the Yankees, and I kept asking my dad, "Is like, can we get to the go see the Yankees?" And he figured out he got some tickets to see the White Sox. This is July of 1973, I think. So I got in the old Yankee Stadium before they remodeled it and changed and screwed around with it and stuff. They had a little bit. Some seats were actually kind of view obstructed because they had these stanchions that held the thing up in the old stadium. But I got to see Bobby Mercer play. I saw him get a double, and I don't think they beat the White Sox that night. But what can you do? I got to go there, and I lived in Seattle at the time, so I got myself like a souvenir. I got the little soft, like the Yankees hat, and one of those little, like, cheap plastic, batting helmets and stuff to bring back with me. And and those things, you can't place a value on that kind of experience as a youngster. So, I mean, he was a good dad in a lot of ways. And then I moved to California and actually lived with the man for a period. And he laid down the law and got me to, like, get some good grades and then not be such a goof off. Taught me the value of determination and looking out for your own future, and try to you know accomplish some stuff that would be important for me as I move forward in life. Um, and not that I was, as a 13 or 14-year-old kid, I wasn't really anxious to be all, like, trying to, be this, like, straight A student kind of guy. But um, it turned out that being the best I could be was its own reward. I really, it turned out that I did appreciate his encouragement in that fashion to try and get me to be better than I had been prior to that. And it got me into the good high school there, in San Francisco, and and following through that, got pretty good marks, and it got me into college and got me going. And I don't think without his guidance and what have you, I don't think I would have done as well in that regard. So he took out a lot of time and put a lot of care into seeing that at least I had the proper kind of direction and support that maybe is needed. A lot of kids, just they can use a little bit of encouragement in a lot of ways sometimes. So, I'll miss the man. He's no longer with us. From what I hear, he has just passed. So he was almost 20 years my senior. So that means, I don't know, he must have been in his early 70s. And I can't, I guess I can't really hang with him no longer. And here's to you, Bernard. He got into a habit of calling himself Finbar. He liked this. He said it's an old Irish name, or there was a saint or something too. He got me to put that on my, I think my confirmation name. He's like, oh, it's a saint. It's real. It's Finbar. Did he put Finbar? So my confirmation name is Finbar myself. I don't know if I would have really chosen that. I think I would have went for Michael or Anthony or something. But the Finn Man. So people knew him as Finn for since 75 or 77 or some good period of time. He's been Finn to a lot of folks. Finn. To me as a youngster, he was Bud or Bernard, and I'll miss him. Little stories. Him and my mother saw a little black dog get struck by lightning in a driving rainstorm in Omaha, Nebraska. It got zapped next to the flagpole near Brandeis. Brandeis was like, the cafeteria building at Creighton University. And the little dog was out in the rain and got zapped and was in a puddle. Looked like it was dead. So they scooped up this little puppy dog and they adopted it as their own little dog. And that was my dog all through my little youth when I was a little boy and everything. I had this little dog. And it was like half border collie and kind of feral coyote mix thing. It was a weird dog. And it only like the only people it would relate to was like me and my mom. And everybody else, he was wicked, mean too. It wasn't even funny. The thing was vicious. It wasn't that big either. It was like pint-sized little dog, like a terrier, a little bit bigger than that, but just like a skipper key, they call them. It's like French skipper keys, that kind of size little deal. But man, did it was just. It had a mean streak a mile long. And, of course, she named it Fang. I guess like Phyllis Diller's husband. Fang. And this was our companion, and I hear it lived till he was 22. I mean, I was living in California, and it lived for long after I left my mother up in Washington, in Seattle. And great companion, a good little dog. And I'll never forget that. And the thing was that my dad, Finn, or Bernard, Brady, Bud, he hated dogs and cat, any pet. He hated things with fur that were four-legged little creatures. Hated them. So to tolerate my mother accumulating this little creature and taking that into account, he must have, him and my mom must have hit it off something fierce for him to accept the fact that there's this fang dog thing to take care of during the whole procedure, because he was not fond of any kind of little things that like furry little creatures that you call names and stuff. Wasn't fond of pets. I like all kinds of little pets. I like them. They're great. I can't get enough of them. But my dad, not so much. But other than that, the guy was pretty swell most of the time. You could really, and boy, could he could turn a phrase and tell a story. I mean, and once again, I'm gonna miss the man. And I guess that's all I have to say on the subject. Came back here in 2016. Took me to lunch, and we had a few beers out near the Long Island Sound, and it was a good time. We went to the supermarket together. We got some Samuel Adams. Got a hot pizza, and that was my birthday when I was a younger man, and he was a younger man as well, I guess. And it was fun. God, time flies. That was a few years ago. Well, that's all I gotta say.